So we are live streamed on YouTube.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order for the Township of Montague Committee of Adjustment. And this is a public meeting and it's live streamed electronically. I'll call the meeting to order. We'll approve the agenda for the committee members. All approved?
Yeah,
Here.
I'm we approve it and I approve it.
Okay, that's approved. Approval of the previous minutes of April the 12th, 2022.
I move that we approve it.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all right. We'll vote on it. All in favor? I gotta put my hand up. I gotta put my hand up where you can see it, not over to the side.
I got mine up too.
Hey,
If there's any disclosure of interest from the committee members, declare it now.
no, I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay, the purpose of the meeting is to consider an application of a minor variance. And it's on for 159 Old Orchard Road. And we'll let Forbes go ahead and do the presentation for the planner.
Thank you very much, Chair. Everybody has received a copy of my planning report. And I'll go through and summarize my assessment, Chair, if I may. So the property is an existing lot of record. It fronts on the Rideau River, and it is developed by a cottage. The property, the proposal is to redevelop the property with a new dwelling with a similar setback from the water that the existing development has. The existing development has a 20-meter setback from the water. The proposed new development will have a similar 20-meter setback. In addition to the reduction or request and reduction from the 30-meter to the 20 meters for the water setback, there's also a request to reduce the rear yard setback from 7.5 to 3.2 meters, and to allow for an increase in the maximum lot coverage from 10% to 14%. The proposed or the existing dwelling on the property is about 68 square meters in size. The proposed new development is going to be 107 square meters in size, but that does include an attached garage. The applicant submitted, the application that was submitted by Zanderplan indicated that the lot is severely undersized, making compliance with lot coverage and yard setbacks not possible. And they also noted that part of the property is zoned floodplain as well, associated with the Rideau River. The property is in the settlement area of Andrewsville, and as such, it's an appropriate location for development that's being proposed. I have identified the limited service residential zone provisions in my report. I'm not going to go through those. And also I highlighted that section 327 of the bylaw has the 30-meter water setback. At the time of the writing of my report, Chair, there were no comments of concern or objection. And I did do a fairly thorough assessment of the proposed development against the 4 tests set out in the Planning Act. The first test is, does this maintain the intent and purpose of the official plan? Clearly, this is an area where development is to be directed towards being within the hamlet. And it would be deemed, as a result, that this is in keeping with the official plan, and the application has been deemed to conform with the township's official plan. In terms of the bylaw, there are a number of elements that are being asked to be reduced. The 30-meter setback reflects, is the standard in the bylaw, though the existing cottage has a 20-meter setback, and it's proposed that that setback be maintained going forward with the new development, which is consistent with the standard approach put out in the official plan and by conservation authorities. It's clear the new dwelling will have a larger footprint than the existing cottage. However, as I indicated, a large part of that is related to the attached garage. And that attached garage is behind the house towards Old Orchard Lane. And they wish to encroach into the 7.5 front yard or rear yard setback to 3.2 meters. What's interesting is if the garage was detached and not part of the house, it could be as close as 1 meter to that rear yard. So in actual fact, having it attached to the dwelling keeps it further away from Old Orchard Lane than what the bylaw would permit if it was detached. And as a result, I'm not concerned about the reduction in the rear yard setback at all. The increased lot coverage, I think, is typical of small lots that are being redeveloped. It's not an outrageous variance from the 10% to the 14%. And I believe one of the improvements is that there's a new septic system on the property as well, and that's appropriate. In general, it's our position that the proposed variance maintains the intent and purpose of what's trying to be achieved with the zoning bylaw. Is it a desirable and appropriate use of the land? And in our opinion, the improvement of the quality of the development, the increased energy efficiency, confirmation of a working septic system are all desirable, particularly given the waterfront nature of the property. And finally, is it minor in nature? And we feel that the impact on the surrounding neighborhood will be minor. There's already been a history of development on the property. This is going to improve the quality of development and set a standard for the area. And we feel that there will be no impacts on the surrounding neighborhood as a result of this application. Mr. Chair, my report has concluded that the 4 tests for the minor variance have been satisfied. My recommendation to you this evening, sir, is to look upon the application favorably. It is worth noting, although it's not a condition that's being recommended, it is standard practice that the development will have to proceed through site plan control as well as the minor variance process. But that's just matter of standard practice and doesn't require a condition. We're not recommending any conditions with this application, sir. That concludes my report. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to attempt to address them.
Thank you, Simon. Is there anybody else that wants to make a presentation at this time? Either the Catherine or Chris or Robert?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'll just make a couple brief comments. And I want to thank Forbes for his presentation. I think he's gone over everything quite well, so there won't be too much for me to cover here. I just want to reiterate that in terms of the undersized lot area and the lot coverage that we're requesting. So if you look at the sketch that's provided in the staff report, in the agenda package as well, the area between the Rideau River, the property line, and the blue line, which marks the floodplain, that is floodplain lands, which by definition, as Forbes said, doesn't count in the overall lot area. So actually the lot is a little bit bigger than what's shown in the zoning table, but you know, if you were to include those lands, the lot coverage would be, the variance would be a little bit less. But again, just wanted to point out that fact. And then in terms of, you know, the positioning of the house and the attached versus detached garage, the owners did look at multiple options for the garage and decided that an attached garage was the better way to go. And they did have conversations with Carl Grenke before retaining us. And Carl's direction was to minimize or reduce the rear yard setbacks through a variance in order to get a larger water setback. So our goal with the 3.2 meters at the back was to try and position the dwelling at an equal setback to what's there now, so that we're not further encroaching into the Rideau River. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Robert or Catherine, any comments?
I just want to say thank you to everyone who's worked on this project. It's been quite an experience for me and my husband because I've never built a home before. I just want to say thank you. My ancestors are from Montague Township and settled there a long time ago. So it's exciting for me to come back to the area again and to be able to build my retirement home there. So I just want to thank everyone for helping me out and helping my husband and I get to where we want to be.
Okay, thank you. Now it's questions for the committee. Does the committee want to, either Jim or Brian want to start with the questions, or you want me to start with the questions?
I got a question.
Okay, go ahead, Jim.
Just when they were saying they had no complaints from anybody in the neighborhood, is that including the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority too?
Mr. Chair, through you, there were no comments from the Conservation Authority that were of concern, expressed concern.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I have a few questions. On the drawing that you gave us, the last one there, from the back of the property, where the garage is going to be built, that piece of property behind it, between it and the road allowance, who owns that piece of property? Does that not create that a landlocked piece of property? Is that land not landlocked legally? You can't build on it?
Chair, my understanding is that there's a legal right of way over that property. And that the part one, you're referring to part 127R 9987.
Yes.
Yeah, my understanding is that that's associated with the parent property that abuts these lands, and that there's easements and right of ways over those properties to provide access.
Have you seen that documents that it's been approved?
Through you, Mr. Chair, if I may, on the topo plan that was provided for the property, it indicates the part that you're asking about is part 1 on 27R 9987. And in brackets, it says easement as in instrument number LC 116775. And that's pointing to where the driveway crosses through that triangular strip out to the road.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. That was one of my questions, because it looking at it without that information on the document, it questioned it. What is I know the zoning amount setback from the river. What does Rideau Valley Conservation Authority, do they have a limit on how close you can build to the river? And on this property, on the existing property, the closest piece to it is just a flat deck. And now in this one, you want to put an enclosed deck, I believe. Screen porch in.
So, Chair, if I may, through you, the position of the Rideau Conservation Authority is that there is a 30-meter setback for all water development. However, where there is existing development that's within the 30-meter setback, provided the redevelopment of the property does not encroach further than the existing development, the Conservation Authority historically had been supportive of the applications.
Okay, but they didn't make a comment this time.
No, sir.
Okay. What about the heritage waterways? Do they have any say on how far your setback is?
Typically, Parks Canada does not speak to the matter of setbacks. They do speak to the aesthetic nature of the properties. And there are no comments that have been back from Parks Canada on that. typically they focus on the site plan, which is the next stage of the process, and not so much minor variance applications. And the Conservation Authority looks more after the minor variances.
Okay, and when I was out at the property today, I did not notice the notice of public meeting posted at the site. Has that been posted? Has it fallen down, or what's happened to it? Go ahead, Christy.
Through you, Chair. So the Old Orchard Lane or road is a private road. The notice is posted as you enter the road on the post.
Oh, way at the Heritage Drive.
Yes, so it's a private road. It's posted right at the front.
Oh,
So
okay.
Tom is
I looked at the
trespassing.
property site and I didn't see it.
Yeah, no, so it's at the front where you would see it from the road, as it is a private road access
Okay.
that's not maintained by us.
How old is the property surveys? Is that a recent, current? The surveys of the property?
I can answer that if you'd like. They were done last spring.
Oh, okay, no, that's fine. I'm just questioning because we had a meeting last year where the building was on somebody else's property and they had to realign the property lines because the survey wasn't current at the time of an old building, so. And I had one other question here. I gotta see what it was. No, I think that covered it all that I had. Did you have any questions, Brian?
Oh, I'm okay, I think. I have
Okay.
a couple that you already addressed.
One question to Brian and Jim. Did you, either one of you or both of you, get down to see the property or not?
I didn't, I couldn't, I was tied up this week in a rewiring in an old house. So I have to apologize. It's the first one that I haven't seen of all the jobs, so I just went by the photographs we had here.
No, okay.
And I'm the same way. It was just one of those crazy busy weeks and I just couldn't get down to it. I didn't have the card, so I apologize, but I did study the diagrams very closely.
Yeah, well, I found that 2 days' notice isn't much time for the committee to get out and look at the property. I would like to see longer periods of time, as we are recommended to go out and view the property, but only getting the information 2 days before is very short.
Yeah, this is the first time I've missed one too.
Yeah, my first one.
Yeah. Okay, no, I guess no other questions from anyone?
Nope.
No.
Okay, I guess we're ready to make a decision. What are your thoughts on this, Jim?
I think we should go ahead with it. Listening to them, the way everything was discussed and the questions you asked, I asked a question and I'm satisfied with the answers. For me anyways.
Okay, thank you. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, no, I'm totally okay with this. Seems like everybody's done their due diligence and got the information to the answers. So I think we should proceed.
Okay.
What do you feel, Tom?
One other comment I'll make is what they call the back of the property is that little triangular piece of land, which nobody could do anything with anyway. So to me, that's not an issue, being the garage being closer to the back of the property. It's not an issue for me at all, because that land is pretty well useless for anybody else to do anything but maybe cut the grass on it or trim the trees. But anyway, you're all happy with it. Let's take our vote on it. Everybody in favor?
I'm in favor. Can you see my hand?
In favor?
Yes, I can see it. I see you
Okay.
too, Brian. Okay,
Okay.
it has been passed. Now, if anyone is on the audience or anyone on YouTube watching this and they want to get a reminder, or I'll give you a reminder that if you want a formal notice of the decision which we've just made today, you can send your address, your name into Christie, and she will send that out to you. And do we have any more information, Christie, on the next meeting, or? No? Okay. All right. I guess we have to ready to adjourn. We got somebody to move it.
I'll move it.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor? All right. This meeting is now officially closed. Thank you for your time and effort.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and everyone.